Sanitation District at 57 Baca Grande Way. It is 8:03. Everyone is here. We're going to start with administrative matters and disclosures and potential conflicts of interest. Does anyone else on the board have any?
No.
Okay. And then we need to approve the agenda, so if everyone wants to.
Does anybody have anything, any changes?
Okay, can we expand just for a brief conversation, other business, to include the November, an article for November, since I got an extension from,
Sure.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so.
And perhaps in that same place, I think now that we're going to have daylight savings time, I'd like to suggest that we move the meeting to 9,
Okay.
rather than hold it at 8. Does anyone else have any
Let's
feelings
wait
about
until
that?
Kyle gets here
Can do
for
that.
that conversation.
Sounds like a good idea.
We can talk.
They go back,
They go back, yeah.
So it gets
they fall
dark.
It'll
back.
be dark.
Yeah, okay.
No, it gets light and dark, or gets light earlier in the morning and dark earlier in the evening.
So that's all I have. Shall we approve the agenda?
Yes.
Yes, so moved.
So move,
I
second.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now to the minutes.
So the minutes are enclosed. Let me know if you have any questions or comments.
I had a question that I forgot to ask last month. Was last month's meeting considered special because we moved the date of the regular meeting?
Yes.
Okay. And then on the continuity of operations plan, I thought that the sort of decision or direction, and I don't know if this needs to be indicated in the minutes or not, was that the board was going to review and make comments and approve later or
It was a
discuss
draft.
later.
It was a draft.
Yeah.
Is that
But-
No, that's not how I remember it, actually. I mean, I think it's open to discussion and comments, you know,
Okay.
and corrections. But my recollection of the meeting was not
Page
that
3.
it was going to be brought back for board approval,
Okay.
but rather that the staff would just go ahead and adopt the
And-
plan and you could add to it later.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's it. Do you have any more
That
comments?
was it. No, that was all I had a question about. Thank you, AJ.
You're welcome.
I'll move that we approve the minutes as they were with no corrections.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great.
I'll go back and read them again, Jennifer, and see if I can find it.
Just like an egg hunt, just looking for something.
Okay.
Just kidding.
We've reached the, excuse me, I'm losing my words. We've reached the point of public comment, and I see Eric and Medora. Is there something?
Yes, in
Dawn.
fact,
And Dawn, yes. So,
I brought you some copies to refer to, so let me pass those in this direction. I think I made 8. So my purpose of being here is mainly to request that one of you agree to come to the November 7th Crestone Baca Planning Commission meeting. Because in the October 3rd, it was mentioned that the water and sand wasn't represented, nor was Manitou, nor were the greenways represented.
Is this about the
What is this?
road? Sorry.
Yes, this is
Okay.
about, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I should have made that clear. So we're talking about the closure of Tranquil Way. And you know, I would give you some of my personal experience with road issues such as this. In real estate, there is a law called prescription easement, and I bet you're all pretty familiar with that. And I remember back in the early 90s, the ruling was if it was utilized 19 years or more that it was a road by prescription. And we do have locals that have given us the data that it has been used since 1975. And you know, another thing that I'd like to emphasize as a previous real estate broker, is that this is something that I really feel great empathy for all of those involved, especially the current property owners, because they bought the property, as I understand it, from the tax sale, or two of the lots, which they chose to consolidate with a lot that they personally had purchased previously.
This is the owner, the Greenways that closed.
And so again, this is what I understand to date. Good morning, Kyle. And this, you know, I just feel that they have not had good encouragement. I think they've had someone suggesting that they do things that are not really legal, and I'm sad for them, because had they talked to me, I would have said, you cannot do that because it's already met the 20 years plus, and according to the records, it's been 36 years of usage, that historical usage, when they chose to put the boulders up. And I'm not real clear. Was it 2006 that they consolidated, or
2002.
Two. So in 2002, when they consolidated this property with theirs, the road easement, state required, or state law supports that road still being there. They had the ability to have reviewed and seen the property before they made their decision. And I feel that they've made a wrong decision.
What is it that you want the water board to do?
To come to the meeting on November 7th at the POA. It's at 9 a.m.
I understand that, but what do you hope that the water board can do?
Just be represented there, because you may have other data that the group does not have. And we're dealing with the Forest Service, we're dealing with Manitou, as you know, and the Greenways. And I would also ask if your attorney could do a little
No.
investigating. No?
We can talk about this, but I don't
Yeah,
think it's
I
our
think-
issue at all.
I'll just kind of give you a little bit of background too. We don't have any ownership in the road. We have a water line and an easement in there. And for the prescriptive easement, there are a couple of different elements, not just that it has to be used for 20 or 19 years, but it has to be open notorious, it has to be continuous, meaning one day shutting it down can break that. There are a whole lot of elements that the county can get into, but it's not our jurisdiction on whether it's open or not. And we're not using the access at all. The board had decided a couple of years ago not to pursue a road access easement because we didn't want to be in the middle of a road closure from the district standpoint. Now, the individual board members might have different views individually, which is perfectly fine, but the district a couple of years ago had decided we're not even going to go after a road access easement because we just don't want to be in the middle of this kind of brewing storm of what's going on. So we don't have any jurisdiction to try to enforce it or anything like that. I think any presence would, it's up to
I'm
the
happy
board.
to go, I'm happy to go.
Yeah, it would be for historical,
Yeah.
like what you're asking for, I think can provide some of that. And you were here during all of those discussions, so you have that history. But we specifically dropped the road easement issue because it was just becoming way beyond what we even cared about. We just wanted an easement. And so I know it's been continuing to brew. It's just, we stepped out of it intentionally for that reason because we didn't want to throw good money after bad over something that wasn't really our fight. So,
I do fully understand that, and so this fulfills what my suspicion was, that this is really a county issue, and they need to hold their own laws, from my perspective.
Yeah, and I think they're absolutely the proper jurisdiction to talk to, and they're the ones that would enforce their own county, because the position, I believe, is that it's a county road, that it's been used for county purposes, so they would be the ones that would then assert their interest in it, and then the Greenways, you know, would assert whatever their position is as well. And I think it's really between those two parties, even more so than even Manitou or the
Yeah.
Forest Service or us or anything. I think it's
Okay.
those two entities that it's probably mostly involving, although others have an interest, obviously.
you have
for
an
personal
offer.
reasons.
And it is true, I think I can go, it is true that Scott Johnson
Monday or a Tuesday, do you?
drove that road through without permission.
The 7th is a Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
Wednesday. I'm counting on I'm not pointing at you, Eric,
Okay.
Carl.
Just close to seven.
I'm looking at the calendar and counting, because it's the
Carl
October calendar.
Erickstrom.
Miss Erickstrom,
Why
yes.
not?
So, you know,
It's a small community, we might be able to get it.
I would really be grateful if you could attend that meeting,
If it's-
simply
if you-
because I feel that that will put to rest that one little thread that they think that should be addressed, and that way this
Okay.
could potentially clean this up a little faster, hopefully.
Right, I mean, it's getting,
Yeah.
it's like a shuttlecock, it's going between the county and here and the county, you know.
And you know,
So I think it
understand
would be
that.
good for us to just, you know,
Say our part.
say what
It's not-
Jennifer said as our
It's not
position.
us, it's an individual, because we're not gonna be into it, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. And just because I was in a conversation actually about a very long-term hiking trail across a lot in the last few days, I was reminded, so I'm just giving you this to
Okay.
maybe go look at. And I think it was 2007, there was a huge case in Boulder.
I know.
Okay, you know
I'm
about
very
that.
aware of
Good.
this, and it really caught my interest because of real estate law, and I knew this could be a potential hazard here because there's a lot of people that have purchased property since the mid-70s and still yet to come see their property. So that's too bad, you know, that they haven't had the opportunity or created that. So thank you very much. I appreciate your attention to
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
And would you let me know if you cannot make it, or
I'm
would
just,
you
if
be?
it's a Tuesday,
It's a
a
Wednesday.
Wednesday, then almost certainly I can make it.
Okay,
Wednesday, 11th and...
9 a.m.
Thank you,
at the
Martha.
POA office. So this is the Crestone
Wednesday.
Baca Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.
I'll definitely
Thank
come.
you.
And then, Eric, was there something you
Yeah.
wanted to, yes.
Yeah, if you don't
please.
mind, I'd like to speak.
No,
Eric
no.
Carlstrom. I commonly get called Carl for some odd reason. More confusing because my brother's name is Carl.
I wanted
But
to
anyway,
do
I'm
Earl.
Eric.
I don't know why, but.
Okay, well, I'm talking on the same subject, if you don't mind. Obviously, this is an issue that has, you know, a lot of ramifications. And we are talking about right up next to your own Cottonwood tank here. And from what I understand, I've done a little research, Water and Sand, Scott Johnson put in the water line in '75, and immediately locals started using it to access Cottonwood Creek Trail.
I believe that actually they were accessing a different trail, the one that the property's on. This is, some of your maps are actually wrong.
Well,
That's being pointed, so there's a contention
that
there.
was
There's a
early.
contention.
Yeah, I've got maps here. That, in fact, I've got
Yeah.
lots of stuff.
Yeah.
This map is correct, 2001. But anyway, so
2001 is different from 1975.
67 is the original map that I had. There is a morass of old dirt roads that are in that area.
Yeah, and go
One of them
right
goes
there.
right next to the
That's
Cottonwood
right.
tank. One of them, the Greenways, have their house on.
That's right.
And some of them are bulldozed and gullied and inoperable.
Yeah.
But the Cottonwood, what we're calling the Tranquil Way bypass, has been very effective for a long time, I'm sure, as you all know, in providing access to Cottonwood Creek Trailhead and the Stupa. And when it was closed about Christmas last year, now there's only, of course, one route in. And on the Greenways property, there's a sign saying no access to Cottonwood Trail. So my concern as a climber, and I've climbed all these beautiful 14ers up here, is that public access to public land be maintained. That's a very important priority. Others have other issues like, well, what about fire emergency? And wouldn't the Forest Service, if there was a fire up here, need access to that Cottonwood tank?
Which they have along that road.
On Dream Way, but
Yes.
Dream Way is, as we know, not a very good road, and not very fast. And if you're in an emergency situation. Now, Mr. Greenway actually came to the last meeting of the Planning Commission, and said, he talked to the local fire chief who said, well, don't worry, if there's a fire, we'll just take the boulders off the road in 10 minutes. I'm sorry, I think that's ridiculous. You know, they'd have to have a bulldozer right there to get them off in, 45 minutes. And by then, your fire's gone, So I think there is a fire issue, I think there's an access issue. And of course, you guys are the ones who have maintained the road. And,
Or
and
not.
Actually, there's no, we don't do any maintenance up there.
well, according to Steve McDowell, who I talked to, and Scott Johnson, in 1999 or 2000, Water and Sand paid Randy Robbins of Antonito to improve that road and make it a nice gravel road, which he did. And it was your nickel that did that.
That's right, but we haven't maintained the road.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
And that
that's,
was related
12 years
to
ago.
the installation of a water main for the Shumay and the Beards. So there's no maintenance of it. There may have been an original installation that left a,
right.
So it was improved for access to make it improved
No, but anyway, yeah.
infrastructure. at that time.
But I'm saying that, obviously you guys have a history with this thing since Water and Sand put it in 75 as a water main. And then,
But there's a difference between putting a water main in and putting a road in.
right, I know there's a very